Hey, welcome to my channel. So I wanted to walk you today through some of the supplies I've been using to paint gouache in the landscape. So I started out with this set of Lucas gouache. Really nice set to start out with. Very reasonable. It's got a primary set, split primary, and it's got some earth tones in there. Very reasonable price-wise. And I'm going to have some links below for these supplies if you'd like to get them. Good pigment load on this, good value. Some of the brushes that I use are just these basic kind of $3 brushes. There's just a couple flats and a round. And then I also, you're also going to need some sort of pencil or a pen to sketch out the initial concept on your paper. And also need some sort of water cup. So I like these because they're collapsible. They're great in the field or they're great in the studio. Nice little water cup. You're also going to need some sort of palette. I like these Masterson Stay Wet palettes. This is the small version. And what I'll do is I'll just line the inside with some paper palette paper. And this is a gray Matters palette paper made by Richardson. And I like to paint on a gray palette. Just gets my values set from the start. And so you'll need some sort of palette like this. And then also some sort of watercolor paper. This Strathmore Vision, it's 140 pound. It's just a good value. It's great to paint gouache on. And it comes in all sorts of different sizes, 9x12. I think there's a 6x9. Really great for in the studio, sketching, or out in the field. Okay, so we're going to get into just painting a quick sketch here. This is of the Truro Cottages on Cape Cod. That's where I live. This is probably one of the most painted scenes down here. There's all these cottages that are all lined up and they get lit up during the day. And I thought it would be just a nice demo to show kind of some of the contrast of light and shadows on this painting. So I'm using a split primary palette here. With just some green. I think it's a permanent green light as well, and white and black. One of the things I really like about using gouache in the landscape is just really vibrant colors, and it's a really versatile medium. Really easy to pack the gear up, bring it out into the field, or do quick studies in the studio. This is maybe like a 5x7 or a 6x8. So here I'm just kind of getting in the shadows, and now I'm adding a little bit of light to the roofs. And so if you haven't painted with gouache, it's kind of like a great combination of the qualities of both watercolor and acrylic. And as I said, the vibrant colors of gouache are really something that I've enjoyed kind of painting with it over the last 15 years. I first came across some gouache paintings of Charles Sovek, who painted a lot down here on Cape Cod. And I just loved how the paint was so vibrant and just really jumped off of the page. So that was when I first started painting in gouache. I also painted in acrylic, just like Charles Sovek did. He's a big influence of mine. One of the other things I really like about gouache is the matte finish. It really gives these paintings kind of like a uniform look. It's not just kind of dry and glossy. It has its own look, and if you've seen gouache paintings in museums or in galleries or things like that, you probably know what I'm saying there. And also it dries super fast. So it can be a great sketching medium for outdoor painting. I love plein air painting, and I'm going to get into some of that in the channel moving forward. But gouache is such a great medium because, we're all busy. We all have lives, and you don't want to be lugging out all this equipment. I did used to paint in oils, and I found that there was just so much equipment you had to lug out into the field. But with gouache, you just need kind of a sketchbook, your paints, and you can just literally sit on the ground and start sketching. And so, I've kind of mentioned a little bit about the pigment load in gouache as well. These Lucas paints, like I said, are really good kind of set to start with. I think they have a decent amount of pigment load in them. They are light, fast paints. If you want to be keeping these sketches for a long time or framing them, but as you kind of move down the medium, you might want to try different brands. There's Holbein, there's M-Gram. Those are some of the other gouache paints that I also paint with. But this set, for the $15 to $20 is just a really great set to start out with. So here I'm kind of just adding into some of the details and the shadows of these paints, and what on this painting, what I'm really attracted to, and whenever I paint these turtle cottages, is really that contrast between the darks and the lights. And you'll see as the painting progresses how much that these cottages get lit up, or if you see it in the photo on the side there where the white is, the sun just beams off of these all year round, not just in the summer. These are especially very lit up in the fall as well. So as you can see there, I'm putting in that kind of white that just has a touch of yellow in it, and that's just to really emphasize that the reason that I paint this, which is the light versus the dark, and that contrast right there. So yeah, let's get back to talking about gouache. I think a lot of illustrators in the past used it as a medium, and they probably still do. I was really excited to see that gouache was being used kind of in the landscape, like I said, when seeing some of Charles Sauveck's work. I thought that a lot of the paintings that he did were just amazing, and had this kind of quickness, or this he captured kind of the moment really quickly with gouache. And he did some still lifes as well. He painted everything with it. I really like it for the landscape, and I hope to be sharing more of that kind of moving forward. You can kind of reactivate gouache with water, and I don't recommend doing that, but if you want to come in and kind of rework paintings, I use it mostly as a sketching medium. So if I'm not happy with the painting at the end, it's, hey, I learned something, I got through the painting, and I will just kind of move on to the next sketch. And I have just a big sketchbook that's full of gouache paintings that I can look back on. So follow my channel here for more tips and tricks on using gouache to paint the landscape. I'll be putting up tutorials on color mixing, values, plein air painting, sketchbooking, and more. So yeah, see you on the next one, and here's the final completed painting. Take care.